Chosen one, you are here at this exact moment for a reason, and it is no accident that your eyes have landed on these words. From this day forward, your life is changing in ways you could never have imagined. You have carried burdens on your back for far too long, working tirelessly day after day, wondering when all of your efforts would finally pay off. But today, something profound is happening inside you. You are about to discover that it is no longer your duty to grind and struggle just to survive. Instead, it is God's duty now to ensure that you prosper and thrive. Yes, you heard that right. From now on, no more work. It's God's job to handle your needs, clear your path to riches, and guide you into the realm of everlasting abundance. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because your spirit already senses that a monumental shift is unfolding. In the next moments, you will learn not only why this is happening, but how to embrace it fully. First, take a brief pause and comment 777 below. By commenting 777, you amplify the energy of what you're about to receive. You show the universe, and most importantly, your own soul, that you are open to claiming this message of absolute freedom and divine provision. Imagine waking up tomorrow and feeling the weight you've been carrying vanish from your shoulders. No more waking up in panic, dreading the day's tasks, or stressing about how you will make ends meet. Instead, you rise with a sense of peace and expectancy, knowing that the Creator of the universe has personally taken on the responsibility to provide for you. Many people will doubt this possibility or find it hard to believe. They've been taught that hard work is the only way, that toiling from dawn till dusk is inevitable, and that you must prove your worth through sweat and tears. But you, chosen one, are different. You have been set apart for a special purpose. You have been called to walk a path that defies conventional logic. God has singled you out, preparing you for a life where extraordinary blessings follow you wherever you go. This new season of your life will baffle those who witness it and leave them in awe, because they won't understand how you broke free of the cycle of strain and scarcity they continue to endure. Right now, you might feel a tinge of doubt creeping in. Perhaps you're recalling bills piled high on your kitchen table or responsibilities that you haven't had a chance to address. Maybe you're used to a life of constant hustle. Let that doubt go, even if just for the length of this message. Let yourself believe, just for a moment, that a new reality is unfolding. When you believe and allow that glimmer of hope to flourish, you open a door in your spirit where divine energy can enter. You are not here by chance. This is your confirmation that the prayers you've whispered in the dark, sometimes with tears staining your pillow, have been heard. Every single tear, every anxious thought, and every question of when will it be my turn was not in vain. The universe, under God's direction, was orchestrating everything behind the scenes, moving the cosmic puzzle pieces into the perfect arrangement so that you could receive this next level of blessing. There is a concept some people refer to as divine exchange. It's when you release your need to carry the weight of your entire life on your back, and God steps in, taking on every worry, every bill, every doubt, every fear. In return, you are gifted with mental clarity, peace of heart, freedom from the bondage of relentless grind, and a heightened awareness of your purpose. When you step into this divine exchange, your perspective on life shifts. Instead of battling uphill against relentless storms, you begin to flow with a current of favor and opportunity. Doors that remained shut for years suddenly swing wide open. Ideas that once seemed distant become tangible. Finances that once trickled in suddenly pour in like a roaring river. This is not a fairy tale. It is a spiritual truth that has been repeated countless times in the lives of those who dared to trust God's word over their own limitations. Think of real people who have experienced this. Take, for example, individuals who, after years of stress and near burnout, decided they would surrender everything, career decisions, money management, daily anxieties, into God's hands. Suddenly, they found themselves being offered new positions that required less effort, yet paid significantly more. Some discovered unexpected inheritances, others were introduced to new business partnerships that seemed to appear out of nowhere. These events weren't coincidences. They were the result of letting go and letting the divine architect plan the construction of their future. You can see this pattern documented in stories of entrepreneurs who insisted on tithing or giving and found that their incomes multiplied in direct proportion to their generosity and faith. Or everyday individuals who left their harsh 9-to-5, trusting that a higher power would guide them, only to find a more fulfilling path that provided both financial freedom and spiritual fulfillment. These are not fantasies. They are testimonies that prove what happens when you accept that your life does not have to be sustained by your own effort alone. Chosen one, you have been tested. For some, the testing is found in financial collapse, watching your bank account dwindle to the point of fear and desperation. For others, it might look like giving so much to your job or your relationships that you no longer have anything left to pour into your passions or your loved ones. You may have felt stuck in a cycle where every day looks the same, your spirit crushed, your potential unrecognized. But the moment you acknowledge that God can and will handle what you cannot, you release a kind of spiritual chain reaction. The weight you once carried is transferred onto His shoulders. The anxieties that once kept you up at night lose their power, and in their place, you begin to see new ways of earning income, new relationships that uplift you, new ventures that excite your soul, and a new sense of destiny. From this point on, you no longer have to define yourself by your labor. You are defined by your calling, by God's choice to love you, bless you, and walk with you. Does this mean you will never lift a finger again? Does it mean you will simply lounge around waiting for checks to materialize in the mail without any action on your part? Not exactly. What it means is that when you move with purpose and ease. You follow intuitive nudges rather than a survival-based mentality of, I must do this or I won't survive. You act in alignment with divine guidance, not out of desperation. Work becomes play. Effort becomes effortless because it's powered by God's limitless resource rather than your finite human stamina. This radical shift in perspective can change your entire experience of day-to-day life. For instance, let's say you're an artist at heart who has been stuck in a corporate routine that drains your creativity. The moment you consciously transfer responsibility for your finances to God, new ideas emerge. You find the courage to start selling your art online, connecting with the perfect audience. At first, it may appear risky, but as you continue to trust, you observe that the more authentic you become, aligned with your creative gift, the more doors open. Sales flow in faster than you ever anticipated, collaborations pop up, invitations to showcase your work materialize out of thin air. Suddenly, earning a living feels less like labor and more like stepping into your destiny. You wonder why you didn't make this move sooner, but the truth is, it's all about divine timing. The time is now. This can apply to the person who always felt a calling to speak encouragement into others' lives, but was too bogged down with day-to-day tasks to focus on it. The moment they release the worry of, but how will I pay the bills? They might experience a surge of fresh energy. Perhaps they start a small YouTube channel or a podcast, talking about the exact principles we're discussing today. Over weeks and months, an unexpected wave of followers and supporters finds them, providing both purpose and income. Another might find themselves compelled to volunteer or start a community outreach, and ironically, their own personal finances improve as they pour their heart into something bigger than themselves. Again and again, we see the pattern. When you trust, doors open. When you doubt, doors remain closed. It's important to also understand that sometimes these blessings won't look like you might expect. Maybe instead of a brand new job, you suddenly inherit property from a distant relative you barely knew. Maybe a friend who owes you a favor connects you to a network of investors eager to fund your dream project. Or maybe you get an unexpected settlement or insurance payout that relieves all financial stress overnight. Remember, we serve a creative and infinite power that is not restricted to a single channel of blessing. If you fixate too much on one method, you might miss all the wondrous ways the Creator is trying to get your attention. Keep your spirit open to surprise. That sense of wonder is a key that unlocks the realm of miracles. From now on, we are affirming that you are stepping into a season of no more work in the old sense, because it's truly God's duty to take over. Yet I want to share a crucial concept: rest and trust. In this new season, instead of labor, you rest in the knowledge that everything you need is being provided. That doesn't mean you turn away from opportunities or avoid responsible choices. It means you trust that each step is illuminated at the right time. You no longer need to chase or force situations. You merely follow the divine flow and do what aligns with your heart. That sense of alignment is your compass. If something feels forced, you step back. If something resonates with your spirit, you lean in. This leads to a life that is free from the frantic hustle and filled with purposeful action. That is the ultimate sweet spot. A space where your own gifts flourish in perfect harmony with God's infinite support. Let's get practical for a moment, because I know some of you are wondering how to blend faith and real-life application. One example is budgeting from a place of trust. Instead of panicking over whether you have enough to cover monthly expenses, you look at your numbers calmly, reminding yourself that God supplies all your needs. You make decisions about saving, investing, or spending based on a sense of stewardship and gratitude rather than anxiety. In that energy of trust, you'll be amazed at how your money stretches further, how unexpected refunds or discounts appear, and how you feel guided toward wise financial choices that create lasting stability. Another practical step is to start each day in communion with your higher power, through prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, simply saying, "God, I trust you to open doors for me today. Guide me toward the right people, the right opportunities, and the right mindset." It's a simple practice, but the difference it makes is monumental. You're consciously inviting divine guidance into your daily routine. Now, some of you might be facing enormous battles that go beyond finances. Your health might be in question, your relationships in chaos, or you could be grappling with heartbreak and betrayal. This promise of no more labor, God's duty from now on, applies to every realm of your life, not just money. The principle is the same. If you've reached the end of yourself, it's time to let God take over. Release the stress of trying to fix it all. Surrender it to the one who can realign circumstances in ways you never dreamed possible. This kind of divine intervention can heal rifts in families, draw estranged loved ones back together, and mend what was once declared broken beyond repair. It can also restore your health from conditions that doctors labeled as chronic or irreversible. Again, your role is not to figure out how, but to remain open to the fact that solutions exist that your mind can't currently conceive. That's what faith really means, living each day confident in an outcome that you cannot yet see. If your mind whispers, "This is too good to be true," or "I need to hustle or else I'll fail," that is simply your old conditioning talking. You were taught to trust in your own two hands alone, perhaps because you never had the privilege of seeing miracles firsthand. But miracles are real, and the more you trust, the more you will see them manifest. Start small if you must. Trust God with something minor, like finding a small sum of money or resolving a modest issue, and watch it come to pass. Each time you see the hand of the divine work on your behalf, your faith grows stronger. Soon enough, you'll be entrusting bigger aspects of your life, until eventually you are living in a constant state of ease, peace, and the expectation that good things are always on their way. Your entire outlook changes when you recognize that from now on, you are no longer the one carrying the bulk of the load. When you walk into a job interview, you're not walking in desperate for approval. You're walking in as someone whose future is already guaranteed by a higher power. When you approach an idea for a business, you're not paralyzed by the fear of failure. You realize that if this venture is aligned with your calling, God will breathe life into it. When you meet new people, you don't wonder if they'll accept you. You realize that you already have acceptance from the one who truly matters. This transformation in your mindset not only affects how you feel inside, but it literally shifts the energy you emit. People notice your calm confidence, your magnetic peace, and your unwavering hope. That aura draws even more favorable circumstances into your sphere. In times of difficulty, it's common to slip back into the old mindset. Perhaps you see a sudden expense or face an unexpected setback. At such moments, remember this message. It is not your job to fix the unfixable. Step back into that space of trust. Remind yourself that you are chosen and declare aloud, God, it's your duty now. I let go of this burden. You will find that solutions surface quicker when you refuse to marinate in stress. Worry is like a fog that distorts your vision, preventing you from seeing the path forward. But letting go of worry is like shining a bright light onto your situation, allowing you to see the road that has been prepared for you. That road often leads to more prosperity, more peace, and more meaningful connections than you ever imagined. Let's talk about the topic of rest more deeply, because our world often idolizes busyness. We equate being constantly on the go with productivity, yet rest is an integral part of divine alignment. Even in the ancient texts, there is the principle of Sabbath, a day or time of resting to acknowledge that it is God who sustains us. When you incorporate rest into your routine, you're demonstrating that you trust in a force greater than yourself. You allow your mind, body, and spirit to rejuvenate. In those quiet moments, clarity emerges. You might get the very inspiration you need to solve a lingering problem or a creative idea that propels your finances forward. Rest is not laziness. It's an act of faith that invites new blessings into your life. One tangible example. Imagine a person working multiple side jobs, hustling non-stop, never taking a break because they fear falling behind. They're burnt out, losing creative spark, and ironically, not making much progress. Now imagine that same person deciding to rest one full day a week, trusting that God will compensate for the lost time. In that day of rest, they might read inspiring books, reflect on their goals, or simply sleep to recharge. Over time, that consistent rest might yield surprising results. Better focus during the days they do work, breakthroughs in problem solving, or random new opportunities that come knocking on the door. Their finances begin to improve because they are operating from a place of balance and clarity. This scenario is not hypothetical. Many successful individuals across various industries swear by the power of structured rest or sabbaticals in unlocking new levels of creativity and abundance. Chosen one, I can sense that your spirit is stirring with anticipation right now. There is a special feeling that envelops you when you know the words you're hearing are for you, tailored to your exact situation and struggles. Perhaps you're feeling tingles or warmth in your chest, or tears might be welling up because you realize you've spent years bearing a load that wasn't meant for you. It's okay to cry, to release it, because from this moment onward, you are stepping into a divine contract. No more carrying life on your shoulders alone, no more assuming it's all on you to figure out. You have cosmic backup, a spiritual ally that never grows weary, never judges you harshly, and never fails to show up. Now, let's address the final piece of your transformation: generosity. One of the most practical ways to acknowledge that God is now responsible for your abundance is to embrace a giving spirit. This might seem counterintuitive. Why give when you're the one who needs? But generosity is a powerful statement of faith. It declares that you live in a world of overflow, not a world of scarcity. When you give, whether it's time, resources, or kindness, you confirm that you trust God to replenish what you share. Many individuals who adopt this principle find that as they give, their resources multiply in the most unexpected ways. They give a small sum to help someone in need and suddenly land a contract that pays them more than they ever earned before. They offer to mentor someone struggling, and that mentorship leads to a partnership that grows both parties financially. It's not a transactional bribe to the universe, it's an authentic reflection of an abundance mindset. You give because you know you cannot outgive an infinite source. The more you let flow from you, the more can flow to you. If you're ready to declare to the universe and to yourself that this new season is your reality, remember the instruction from earlier. Comment 777. As you type those 3 digits, allow it to be a symbolic act that you are stepping into alignment with divine provision. It might seem small or simple, but powerful changes often begin with tiny acts of faith. When you see others commenting 777, celebrate with them. They too are stepping into the same realm of trust and surrender. Together, you form a community of believers who refuse to settle for a life of mere survival, who claim the promise of richness forever, free from the drudgery of endless striving. There will be moments when you'll need encouragement along the way. In those moments, revisit these words. Let them remind you that you made a choice to break free from the old cycle. You chose to let God handle your burdens. You chose to adopt the belief that work can be joyful, guided, and purposeful rather than exhausting and soul-crushing. In those moments of doubt, remind yourself of the testimonies you've heard, of the individuals who risked trusting in something greater and found themselves blessed beyond measure. Let that feed your faith. Also, practice affirmations. Speak aloud. I am chosen, I am guided, and I am provided for. When negative chatter arises, override it with that statement. Soon it will become second nature to you. Never forget that your journey is a shining example to others. People who watch your transformation will be curious. They will wonder how you suddenly moved from scarcity to abundance, from stress to ease, from constant labor to a graceful state of receiving. In time, you might share your story to inspire them, pointing them back to the moment you decided that no more work, it is God's duty now. Of course, you'll still do things, you'll still participate in life, but the spirit behind your actions will be changed. You'll be operating from a place of trust rather than fear, and that shift is everything. Your life is a story of redemption and hope waiting to be told. Perhaps you once saw yourself as just another person fighting to make ends meet, but now you realize you're a chosen vessel through which divine blessings flow. You might find that your finances become only a small part of the miracles you witness. Friends and family might come to you in times of crisis, drawn by your radiance and calmness. You'll speak words of life into their situations and watch as transformations unfold. It's all interconnected. You see, once you tap into the divine flow of provision, it doesn't just fill your bank account, it overflows into every area of your life and even the lives of others. People might ask you, aren't you worried about tomorrow? Or why aren't you panicking about your expenses? You'll smile and reply, God has it handled. This response confounds those locked into the mindset that everything relies on them alone. But for you, that old mindset is fading away. You've stepped into a higher truth, where you and God co-create your reality, and the heavy lifting is no longer yours to bear. Make no mistake, you will still face challenges. Life on earth is never 100% free from difficulties. But those challenges will feel different because you'll know they're already solved from a higher perspective. The stress of how dissolves when you trust the divine orchestrator who sees the entire board, not just one square. You are likely feeling a deeper peace in your heart this very moment. Breathe it in. Let the power of this realization settle into every cell of your body. You are loved beyond measure, and your success, your joy, and your fulfillment matter to God. Let that truth resonate. The more you align with it, the more your external circumstances will shift to match your internal knowing. And the next time you're tempted to fall back into that work harder mentality, catch yourself. Pause. Remind yourself of this vow. From now on, it is God's duty. Your role is to live in trust, gratitude, and the confident assurance that all your needs, desires, and higher purposes are being guided toward fulfillment. Yes, we live in a world that praises hustle, but you are proof that there's a better way, a path where you still engage with life's opportunities, but from a place of faith and rest. Your presence will inspire countless individuals to reconsider the frantic pace at which they live. The ripple effect could be vast, leading others to explore their own relationships with the divine, to question their exhausting routines, and to open themselves to a life of abundance and miracles. This is how spiritual revolutions start, one person at a time, daring to believe in a higher promise. So let this message imprint itself on your heart. You are not random. You are chosen. Your struggles were not in vain. They were the training ground for your testimony. Your future isn't filled with endless labor. It's filled with God's supernatural provision. The weight you've carried is no longer yours, for a mightier hand has lifted it from you. From today onward, hold your head high, step confidently into your rightful inheritance, and live in the overflow of blessings that have been predestined for you. If your heart resonates with this, don't forget to comment 777. By doing so, you lock in your commitment to a new narrative, one where all the pressure is off your shoulders and placed firmly into the hands that shape the stars and galaxies. Chosen one, your time has arrived. You've crossed the threshold into a reality where your finances, your relationships, your dreams, and your very life are under the supervision of the one who never fails. Embrace this truth fully and watch as your daily routine transforms from struggle to flow, from strain to joy, and from the burden of endless work to the delight of divine grace. Dare to trust, dare to rest, dare to believe that you, yes you, have been chosen for wealth and well-being beyond measure. This is it. This is your new beginning. Receive it, live it, and let your life shine as a beacon of what's possible when you let go and let God. Thank you for staying until the end of this life-changing revelation. May your days ahead be filled with confirmations of these words, each sign reminding you that you're on the path to richness forever, guarded and guided by the limitless power of the divine. Now go forth in freedom, dear chosen one, and never forget, from here on out, your life has been stamped with an eternal promise. No more work in the old sense. It is God's duty now. Your abundance is here. Your transformation is real, and your story of miraculous provision is only beginning.